I've been having my very own radio show. So every other week, I've been on 106.3 FM here in Rochester for Rochester Free Radio. So for Dates in the States, we've been talking about all things travel, things to do throughout Rochester, and all those fun things. So every other Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you've been seeing my videos lately, there's been a lot of Rochester, and that's why, because as I'm recording for the radio, because I can live stream from my house, um, I'm recording on my camera just so I can repost as a YouTube video. And also so everybody can hear, the topics that we talked about and stuff, because it's free radio. I'm not allowed to play the music off radio. So like, that's why if you're watching any of my past YouTube videos, I cut it where I take breaks and play the songs. That's why, because it's not legal. But with that, they also don't have they don't really record the sessions either. So that's also why I'm recording via video, because I want to be able to listen, and I feel like I'm giving a lot of cool facts and cool things to do in the area, and I want you guys to hear that too. So anyways, enough of me rambling. So I'm exhausted. I I'm here, fresh face, no makeup. I am just needing to pre-record the session for this Thursday because I'm going to be on a cruise throughout the Baltic Sea, and I'm not going to be streaming live from the ocean. So I'm pre-recording it so they can play it this Thursday. But anyways, here we go. Good evening, Rochester. This is Crystal, and you're listening to Dates in the States on 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. Join me here every other week at 6 p.m. where we talk about all things Rochester and share some of our favorite things to do on our travels in other cities. Dates in the States actually started as a travel blog when my husband and I were traveling across the U.S., blogging about our dates throughout the United States. And today, Dates in the States has grown into a multi-platform travel brand featuring our blog, YouTube channel, radio show, and our signature city date books and road trip games. You can learn more about us at datesinthestates.com. All right, let's get to today's show, shall we? So one of the things we love most about traveling is really getting to experience different cultures, and we love doing that through food. But you don't always have to buy a plane ticket to do that. So Rochester has an incredible selection of locally owned restaurants where you can try food from places you may have never even thought to visit. So one of the best places to experience that is actually right here in Henrietta along Jefferson Road. And I mean, seriously, think about Epcot. You know how you can literally go around the world eating and drinking without ever leaving the park? Well, Rochester has its own version of that, and that's exactly what I'm going to be talking to you about today. You can start your day in Korea, have lunch in India, grab dumplings from China, stop for some pho in Vietnam, have Malaysian food for dinner, and you can finish your night with coffee from Yemen. And you can do all of that without needing a passport. You just need your car and an appetite. So grab your imaginary passport and come with us, because we're taking you on a food tour around the world all along Jefferson Road. But first, let's take a quick break. And we're back. Thanks for listening to Dates in the States on 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. Tonight, we're talking about how you can travel the world without ever leaving Rochester, and we're doing that one restaurant at a time. So, first up, our first stop is Korea. There's actually a couple of Korean restaurants along Jefferson Road that we really love. So you might have heard already of Sodam Korean restaurant at 900 Jefferson Road. It's been a Rochester favorite for years, and you can find Korean staples like bulgogi, soups, noodles, Korean pancakes, all the things. But honestly, one of our personal favorites is the new Dosi Rock Cafe at 1225 Jefferson Road. So this place, it's run by a mother and daughter duo, and we absolutely love the food here. So one of our favorite things to order is their fried dumplings. They have an amazing yuzu hibiscus tea that I dream of. And if you want to try a little bit of everything, you can get one of their Dosi Rock boxes, which is usually what we do when we eat there. They're basically like a little sampler of the Korean staples paired with Korean barbecue chicken or beef, and it's just so, so good. And honestly, that's one of the things I love about exploring restaurants like these. Like you don't necessarily have to know what everything is. Sometimes the fun, it's just ordering something you've never tried before and just seeing what happens. So, okay, passport stamped, Korea check. Now we're heading to India. So, for Indian food, you've got Tandoor of India at 376 Jefferson Road. And if you're someone who's never tried Indian food before, this can be a really fun place to start because you can sample like a bunch of different dishes without judgment. They have a lunch buffet, which is basically like the perfect way to travel through a cuisine without committing to one single dish. And if you think Indian food is just one category, there's another stop you should know about. So we have, and I'm gonna butcher all of these names, the Hyderabad. Oh man, I don't know, Hyderabad Biryani House. I hope I said that right. And that's at 1100 Jefferson Road. So this place, it gives you like a completely different look at Indian cuisine because it's like a different type of Indian food. There's apparently different ones. And, you know, that's another thing that I think is really cool about doing a food tour like this. Like you get to experience different countries. You get to experience different regions within the same country, and Henrietta has all of that. So passport stamp number 2, check. Now we're gonna go to China. And this is where I'm going to recommend the OG Dumpling House at 410 Jefferson Road. If you've never had soup dumplings before, oh my gosh, this is your sign to try them. You've got dumplings, bao, noodles, and other Chinese dishes. And honestly, dumplings, it's just one of those foods that are really fun to order with a group. So make sure to bring your friends with you and you can just put them in the middle of the table and everyone tries something. And yeah, there you go. There we have China. Now we're going to hop over to Vietnam. And I'm going to talk about the Rock Pho shop at 339 Jefferson Road. And if you're wondering what to order at a place like this, well, all I have to say is pho. That's probably the easiest place to start. It's a Vietnamese noodle soup. So it's typically made with like a flavorful broth, rice noodles, herbs, meat, all the things. And there's just something about sitting down with this giant steaming bowl of pho that makes you feel like you've actually gone somewhere. So now we've traveled from Korea to India to China, and now Vietnam. And we've done all of that without even leaving Jefferson Road. Now, the last one I want to share with you quick before we take a break is Malaysia. So we have Coco Garden at 420 Jefferson Road. It's another stop we love talking about because Malaysian cuisine isn't necessarily something I would say everyone has tried. Like, I know I've been to cities and I can't say I've ever really seen a Malaysian restaurant or gone to one. So that's what I think is really cool about Jefferson. I mean, we've made it through 5 countries already and we're only halfway through our trip. So anyways, when we come back, I'm going to talk about how we're going to go to Yemen next. We're going to go to the American South. We're going to go to Mongolia. And trust me, you're going to want to hear all about the robots at this one. So don't go anywhere. Don't go away. And we're back to Dates in the States on 106.3 FM Rochester Free Radio. Okay, so before the break, I was telling you that you could travel to Yemen without ever leaving Henrietta, right? This whole segment has been that you can travel the world without ever leaving Rochester. Well, our next stop is Yemen. You don't even have to stop here for dinner. You can just travel to Yemen for a cup of coffee. So we have the Layali Coffee House at 942 Jefferson Road, and this specializes in Yemeni coffee and traditional drinks. And I've been here just recently and I absolutely loved it. Like, I'm not a coffee drinker, but they do have a lot of different teas, like a Denny tea, milk tea. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And their pastries are amazing too, but it's just such a beautiful place to step into. Like, everything is white and gold and clean, and they did a really good job. So definitely take a stop in Yemen. And then we're gonna head somewhere that's a little closer to home. So the American South. because when we say travel the world, that doesn't always necessarily mean that you have to leave the United States. Like, we have so many different food cultures right here in our own country. And if you want to take a trip down south, you can get barbecue. Barbecue is my absolute favorite type of food. And I do have to say, as someone who was living in the South for a while, Rochester is not great with their barbecue, but there are some places that I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, not too bad. And one of those places is Mission Barbecue. And that's over on Marketplace Drive. I was going to say Sticky Lips, but unfortunately they closed, and I'm really, really upset about it because they actually did have good food. But, you know, when I say barbecue, I'm saying smoked meats, different barbecue sauces, southern sides. And depending on where you're traveling in the South, barbecue can always look and taste completely different. You know, like the barbecue I'm used to, it's always paired with banana pudding and always okra. And surprisingly, you can't get that at every barbecue place, which is pretty upsetting. But regardless, Mission does a decent job. And now for our last stop on this big, beautiful journey is Mongolia. So one of our favorite stops on the entire Jefferson Road food tour is Mongolian BBQ at 544 Jefferson Road. And I have to say, this one is it's just such a fun experience. So it's a buffet, which might not sound super exciting to most people, but you can go through, you can pick out what you want. So you choose your meats, your vegetables, your sauces, other ingredients, and everything is uncooked, okay? So you take what you put in your bowl and you take it up to the cook, who cooks everything right there in front of you. So you're not just ordering dinner, you're basically creating it. You're putting whatever you want into this bowl, and you get to watch them cook it in front of you, and it's just so fun. And they also have robots that deliver food and drinks to your table, which I think is pretty neat too. I've never seen that anywhere in the US, which I think it is becoming more of a popular thing now. But regardless, it's pretty cool seeing it delivered by a robot right here in Henrietta. I mean, Rochester, come on, that's pretty cool. And while you're here, make sure to leave room for dessert. So in the same building is Mochinut, and they have some of the best rice donuts I've ever had. Like, so good. Every time we go, we make sure to get like a dozen or half a dozen to take home with us, because they have so many different flavors. Like, you can't just choose one, so you have to get them all, right? So yeah, it's really good. Definitely check it out. So for this food tour, now we've gone from Korea, India, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Yemen, American South, and finally Mongolia. And we got to do all of that without ever leaving Jefferson Road. And today, that was the whole point of today's show. One of the things we love about traveling is, you know, just getting to experience something new. And you don't always have to travel far to do that. Sometimes you just have to be willing to try something different. Maybe try that restaurant you've driven past 100 times. Order something you've never heard of. Ask the person behind the counter, what do you recommend? Because you never know. You might discover your new favorite meal, and maybe you'll even discover a new culture along the way. So before you book your next flight, maybe just start with dinner on Jefferson Road. You'll save money, trust me. All right, I'm Crystal, and this has been Dates in the States on 106.3 FM, Rochester Free Radio. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with me, and I'll see you right back here in 2 weeks. And until then, stop planning and start exploring.